So what is self-sabotage? Well, the thing it's not is something to use to beat yourself up. So it's really easy to think about this idea of self-sabotage as, okay, it's something I'm doing to myself, therefore it's something I'm doing wrong, and therefore I'm a terrible person. Somehow it just always leads to that final conclusion. So what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is essentially subconsciously often not allowing ourselves to feel good. And it's natural, especially if you're an empathetic human who cares about other humans. When you look at what's happening in the world, when you look at racism and violence and war and greed and grief and poverty, why would we ever feel okay allowing ourselves to feel good, considering there are so many people who are suffering? The big question is, does my self-sabotaging behavior, does my suffering, which is mostly self-caused, does that help? Now, it feels noble, it feels right to make ourselves feel bad when other people are feeling bad. It is very noble. It is not helpful. What is helpful is creating situations in your life that help you feel rested and energized and confident and secure so that you can actually go out and make the changes that are going to be helpful. Look at all this sun. It's like, yes, we're glowing the screen to remind you that this is the direction. It's like completely waiting out my face. Doesn't matter. What's important here is that you cannot do anything helpful for others if you are depleted. So let's give some examples of self-sabotage, which I have been 100% guilty of. Okay, sleep. Sleeping for 8 hours has been shown in studies to improve immunity, decrease stress, improve relationships. Basically, in general, when you sleep 8 hours, you know that you feel more energized and obviously rested and often more creative. But what a lot of people do, what I've done in the past, is stay up late, binge watching Netflix. And if you watch Netflix until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and you need to wake up at 6 or 7, you are not going to feel rested. And, sometimes we use these excuses about self-sabotage, like, oh, but my work, oh, but my boss, oh, but my family, oh, but this. But when you stay up late binge watching Netflix, you cannot blame anyone else. It is 100% self-sabotage. You are not giving yourself the rest that you need. And there are many reasons for it, right? We can dig in and find the reasons like, well, I need to reward myself. Oh, I'm super stressed out. Oh, this makes me feel better. Ultimately, it's not going to make you feel better. It's an escape mechanism, and it's 100% self-sabotage. Okay, another example. I've been guilty of this even within the last month. Diet and exercise. When you are eating well, you feel good. When you're exercising, you're starting to notice the changes in your body. Maybe you're noticing some muscle definition. You feel more energized, you feel good. Okay, diet. You know that not drinking helps you sleep better and makes you feel more energized, but your friend's in town and then you decide to go on like a whiskey drinking binge. And then you wake up in the morning and you feel awful. So again, so many reasons for why you chose to go out drinking. Zero judgment. I just did it. There are so many reasons, right? So many reasons I could list. But when you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, I'm never going to do that to myself again, you are 100% realizing that it was self-sabotage. Nobody was forcing you. Nobody was making you do that behavior, but you created reasons for you to follow that behavior, and then you wake up the next morning feeling the consequences of that behavior. And with exercise, what happens sometimes with our routines is that when things get in the way, so when we travel, or if somebody's in our space, if somebody's visiting, if something shifts in our routine, exercise and diet tend to be the first thing that goes. We just let go of it because we're trying to accommodate someone else. We're trying to accommodate someone else's, visit in our space, and we want to be available to them, or we're traveling and we want to accommodate our colleagues who don't want to wait for us in the morning when we want to go for a run, or we are used to doing yoga in our living room, and when we have in-laws in the house, we can't do it anymore. So all this self-sabotaging behavior, again, like the underlying current of it all is, I don't deserve to feel good. I don't deserve to put myself first. I need to put all these other people and things first because that's what a good person does. A selfish person puts themselves first. So the first thing you need to do in realizing this self-sabotaging behavior is, number one, just be aware of it when you're like, I don't feel great. Why not? What am I doing? What behavior am I doing to keep myself feeling bad? Keep myself from elevating and feeling really good? What am I doing? Just note it. Don't judge it. Don't get mad at yourself. Don't use it to beat yourself up. Just note it. And then when you get back into that routine, when you start sleeping better, when you start exercising again, eating well, notice what happens when somebody now gets into your space and how you might be able to accommodate that person in your space with also not giving up on yourself and what you need to feel good. And then the third thing is just noting, are you feeling good before you go into that self-sabotaging behavior? Were you sleeping really well and then something triggered you, maybe a stress trigger, a trauma trigger, to push you into this space where you're like, I'm going to stop myself from sleeping well? Note it. Just note it. Be aware of it and ask yourself why. Why am I doing that? Why don't I feel like I can? Why won't I allow myself to feel good? Why am I putting myself in a situation where I don't feel good? Why am I choosing not to do things like meditation every day when I see the benefits of it? Why do I stop doing it? Again, zero judgment. Just ask the questions and note when you're doing it. And what I would like to encourage you to think about also is, who are the people that help you foster the good routine, the routine that helps you feel aligned, the routine that helps you feel like your best self? And who are the people that tend to kind of knock you off course? Now, this is not a weeding out of the people in your life, but again, it's just an opportunity to note and to start leaning into the community that's going to help you foster the good routines. So if any of this is resonating, if you're interested in joining a community where you're going to get support and encouragement and accountability, I would encourage you to look into my June program, which is a 30-day reset. It's a 30-day reset of your body, your mind, your spirit, and your work, so that when you start to get yourself back to a place where you feel good in all of those places, opportunities start to come to you, doors start to open, you start to feel unstuck. 30 days. It takes 30 days to start a new habit. So in this reset, this will be a way for you to kind of okay, start fresh just before the summer, put some new fun routines and rituals in place that you're not going to want to let go of when you're traveling or people are visiting. All right. So the link will be below. And if you want to learn more, and otherwise, I hope this was helpful, and see you next time.